So I used an old magazine and simply ripped out some pages, and then I simply trimmed off the uneven edges, folded each page in half, cut it in half, and then folded it twice more to get almost an inch wide strip of paper. This is what I used to cover my journal with. As you can see, this is just me folding up all the strips. So many strips later. I also have an old box that I'm also just trimming down, cutting off the pieces that I won't be using for this project. um, who knows, we might end up making some tags and things later, but today we are only making this cover. So I've got my box trimmed, cut down to size, and now I'm simply going to lengthen these strips of paper to cover the width of the box. So I'm simply cutting one strip in half, and then I am gluing it to one of the longer strips so that it goes from one side of the box all the way across with a sort of fold over edge as well. So simply glue your strips together, then measure out as many as you need to cover the width of your box. And once you have that ready, we'll be moving on to the next step. So I've measured all of my strips, and I'm simply going to lay them out flat, side by side, making sure that all the edges meet up. And I'm placing my box on top, and then we're simply going to glue one side of all of these strips into the box, into the flap of the box. Excuse me. Bit by bit, take it as slow as you like. I have sped up this video to twice the speed. You can of course slow it down with the three little dots in the right hand corner. Just go there and then simply slow down the speed of the video if that's what you need. But it's quite simple to follow along. I think it's merely just the process takes long because you have to fold all these strips, cut all the strips, glue all the strips. But actually weaving them in is easy peasy, I promise. So I'm just going to glue all of the bits down. I'm not bothered with gluing all of the strips separately together because you'll see what we do a little bit later on in the video, and everything will be glued at the same time anyway. So let's not worry about that at this moment. We are now going to more strips, yay! For and these ones will be placed vertically. So we've done the horizontal from one side of the cover to the other side, and now we're going to place them vertically from the top of the cover to the bottom. And then after this we'll start weaving them in. So the same process, but we're simply going to glue these along the top edge of our cover. You can use any book paper, any magazine, of course. Use as much color as you like. I like that with this weaving in and with us adding tissue paper and glue and things at the end, it almost looks like the book cover is covered in old stamps. So here we are weaving in, and I'm basically alternating the strips and then folding down the top flap. And then on the others, once that part is done, we're lifting up. Every second strip goes out, and then you're placing down one of the top strips, and then you're just making sure that you're tucking in everything closely together so that there's no spaces, really. Alternating once again and moving down one of the top strips. Very, very simple weaving in and out of these paper strips. You'll see all the colors popping through. I have some writing popping through. All of this at the end of the cover gives me, well, I feel it looks very much like we use some stamps to cover this journal with. So I quite like that effect. You can, of course, simply just do this and have your cover. You don't have to go any further than this. This is completely up to you. I love that with junk journaling, there are no rules. You make your own rules as you go along. And this to me is pretty as well, but I wanted a more grungy look, so I went a step further. Now, yes, I'm a beginner. I don't have the tools. I don't have all the distressing paraphernalia, inks and powders and all of those things. I don't have any. So all I'm using is a paper glue. Oh, I should have employed these clips a lot sooner, let me tell you that. So do have some clips or pegs at hand, something that you can use to just clip these strips down, because they keep moving as you are gluing. So that was a little bit of an issue for me, and then I remembered, but I have some clips. So yeah, got my clips out. They helped a lot and they sped up that gluing process. So let's just get all of these down. Yeah, as I was saying, I am a complete beginner. I don't know all of the lingo that one uses for making junk journals. I just enjoy the process of making the covers and putting in signatures and things like that. So bear with me. I'm also learning, and I'm hoping that you're learning along with me. I'm quite enjoying this process. I learn something new every day. Okay, so here's where I go to the next step. I had some tissue paper just laying around, and I thought of simply gluing it in almost a decoupage style. And I'm using here just some glue, watered down. So 1 part of glue to 2 parts water, and I just mix that really well. And I think this is wood glue, if I'm not mistaken. It's just what I have. Got it out of my husband's tool case. And now I'm simply painting it on, corner little bit by little bit, and I'm tearing up the tissue paper and just patting it down. And I'm going to go over with the glue once again. And again, if you want to go over to this next step, which is step 2, you could just finish off here. You could leave the tissue paper as this normal white. You could use any color tissue paper. This is completely up to you. This is a step that is really not necessary. If you were happy with the book covered in only the paper strips, then that is fine. You will simply place some cardstock on the inside of your cover, and that will be it. You will have a beautiful journal cover. I had a certain look in mind, and so I continued. Now again, if you've gotten to this stage and you've used the tissue paper and you're happy with this effect, stop there. Put your cardstock on the inside of your cover and finish up your journal cover. That will be that. But again, I had a certain look in mind, so I took it one more step further, which you will see very, very soon. So I've covered the whole entire thing with the watered down glue. You could use Mod Podge, whatever you have available. It's completely up to you. I think that with junk journaling, one shouldn't go to any extra expense. This is not a heating tool, good people. This is my old traveling hair dryer. And it worked a treat. Yes, it took a few minutes, took a little bit longer than a heating tool would, but it did the job, and I could get all of this done within an hour. So from start to finish, it didn't take long to make this cover. What took long was coming up with the next idea and the next step. So this is what I forgot to show you. I'm using that same bit of watered down glue. I added a little bit more glue, and then, like I said, I don't have any inks and powders and all of that lovely stuff. This is actually a brown eyeshadow. I took a few scrapings of the eyeshadow and mixed it with the glue to get this color, which to me looked very grungy, almost vintage, which I really liked. I tried it on the inside of the book where the tissue paper was, and when I dried it, it gave me the color that I was looking for. So I was quite happy. I just added a few scrapings of the eyeshadow bit by bit, and when I was happy with the color, that is where I stopped, and I simply mixed it through and covered the whole book with that. So now we're on the inside cover, and I'm cleaning it up. I'm using that very same bit of glue that's left in the pot. It looks very, very odd. And I am using some tea-dyed copy paper. I just crumpled it up, and I cut one sheet in half so that I could cover one side and the other side. And then I had another bit, so I just cut up that side just to adhere it to the spine of the book. And that's all I did. And then I finished off with using all of that glue over this paper as well, so that the book on the outside and the inside almost has the same look and feel. But on the outside, it looks almost like there's some vintage stamps poking through the tissue paper. And on the inside, it's just this crumpled tea-stained paper covered with this eyeshadow glue. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. If this is not anything that you like, please scroll along. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to make up my signatures next, and I hope to finish up this junk journal with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this first of what I hope to be many, many more videos. I quite enjoyed making this cover, and I look forward to finishing this cover with you guys very, very soon. So I'm going to show you the end product in just a minute. This is just me applying all of the glue that's left in my little pot, just so that I can go and wash it and clean it and mix my next bit of watered down glue for the next project. Next up will be signatures. Sorry, I've already tea-dyed some papers. So we'll be making some tags, some envelopes, goodies to fill up our journal, and then we'll put it together. Look how lovely this cover looks. Gosh, I wish you could see it in better lighting, but I am so pleased. Thank you guys so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.